We're now at our second location, and this is a place we used to play around as kids, and it's changed a bit. It's now a very nice nature reserve. But when I was 10 years old, my primary school teacher brought us over here because there was a film being made. They were filming a movie here, and it's a well-known movie, and I'll tell you more about it when we get down. But there's the view. And this is the old Hitchin to Bedford railway line, and we've got a lot of steps to go down. It's a long way down.
It is.
And you think when we were kids there were no steps?
We used to run up the side there.
Yeah. So yeah, our location now is Old Warden Tunnel, and the film was those magnificent men in their flying machines. And if you've watched the film, there's a sequence where an aircraft lands on top of a train, and then that train goes through a tunnel and breaks the wings off the aeroplane. And it was this tunnel where they filmed it. Now Lionel here, he came up in the evening, and he says he actually helped them load the plane onto the carriages.
Right,
so
yeah, ready for Terry Thomas to be filmed very quickly, sitting in it, and then it was changed over to a sort of a makeshift dummy type character, and we didn't actually see it being driven into that. It was done the next day during the light time and what have you.
yeah.
But I don't know whether you know this as well, there's a sequence in that film leading up to the tunnel where if you look over, and I believe it's the triplane film, is it Sopwith's triplane that was there flying, you can actually see
the power station.
Was Bedford Power Station back in the 1900s, which it wasn't.
Yeah, they missed that, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
If they did it today, it'd be okay because it's gone, isn't it?
Right, yes, yeah.
So clearly, now it's the days of health and safety. This has all been blocked off, but they've very kindly left a bit of a window here, so you can see in, and you can just see the proverbial light at the end of the tunnel. And there's some echoes. Now, as children, we used to walk through this tunnel. How long is it, Lionel? Is it about
half a mile?
Half a mile. So it's half a mile long, and we used to walk through here quite happily. There's talk that it's haunted, but we never ever saw ghosts. But
do you remember?
Now we're going to hear a ghost story from Lionel.
Do you remember when we were kids and walking through? There are the bits into the wall where the original track layers and that used to stand into when the train went past.
The manholes.
Yeah, and we used to run and hide in there because it was dark, and then nobody could see, and jump out onto our friends and scare them like the ghosts would do.
There you go, you see, nostalgia's not what it used to be. But sadly, just like all of England at the moment, we seem to be using it as a rubbish dump. Now, I have no idea how they would have got this rubbish down here. It looks quite old, but vintage fly tipping. Now, my old nan used to live, when she was a young woman, used to live at a cottage called Tunnel Top. She tells a story that when the steam trains were running, and because there was no station near where she lived, they would give her a lift on the footplate from Bedford and drop her off on the other side of this tunnel. Now, was she just telling me a story? I don't know. I like to think it's true, but they were before the days of health and safety, so quite possible. Right, so we've got to go all the way up these steps again, so I hope you appreciate what I do for you. We're now at our next location, and this is another film set and also an historic site. Another area that we played around as kids. We were in the Air Cadets over here, so had plenty of fun. The hangars were built in 1915 to build airships, and the famous R100 and the infamous R101 were built there. The R101 actually crashed on October the 5th, 1930, and it killed 48 passengers and crew, and there were 6 survivors. Now the hangar on the left, which is hangar number 2, is actually now called Cardington Studios. The superhero I mentioned is Batman, and they filmed various Batman films in here. And if you watch the opening sequence to Batman The Dark Knight Rises, you'll actually see the hangars in the background. They're 180 feet high to the apex inside, so ideal for filming. But the other thing they use them for is rehearsing stadium tours for pop concerts. They've had people like the Spice Girls, AC/DC, Take That. Now the hangar on the right, which is hangar number 1, until a few years ago was home to the resurgence of airships, a company called Airlander. That they had a problem with one of their airships actually deflated, and they've not continued. Yeah, when we were growing up, there were quite a few airships around. Goodyear were building some airships here. I think you'll agree, quite a history. But the next place I'm going to take you to is actually connected with this history. We're now at Cardington Village churchyard, and this is the last resting place of the 48 crew and 6 passengers that died when the R101 crashed at Beauvais. There were some pretty important people on here: the Air Minister, Lord Thompson, and various other dignitaries. It was 2:30 in the morning and the R101 encountered bad weather. Now, for any lighter than air aircraft or very light aircraft, bad weather is deadly, and so it proved for these 48 people. You see the big names here. Sir William Sefton Branca was also on board. That suggests to me that they thought this aircraft was very safe. There's no way in a maiden voyage that these people would risk their lives, so they obviously thought it was fairly safe. Clearly it wasn't. The bodies laid in state in Westminster Abbey, and then were brought here on a special train to Bedford, and then a procession here to Cardington. It's said that 1 million people turned out to watch the procession. Lionel and I were at school with people that were the grandchildren of some of the survivors, names such as Leach and Bell, well-known people in our villages, but many more obviously perished. Thank you very much. It's a bit of a fancy mask there. Well, we've had a good ride. Lionel normally only does a maximum of about 18, I think, but today he's done about 33, and it's very, very warm at the moment, so we've just stopped for a cup of tea. But did you enjoy that?
I did, very much so. Struggled a bit on the last bit out of coming up here out of Old Warden, but yeah, good.
Good to have a bit of a reminisce.
Absolutely, yeah, it was. Yeah, we enjoyed ourselves. Yeah.
In fact, these days it's about all we can remember is what happened.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What, 60 years ago now?
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed that, and look forward to the next one with you. Bye for now.